Hey, it's Lauren from Hazel Homestead. Today I'm going to be showing you how I take the cream from our cow Hazel and make the most delicious, simple raw butter. One of my most favorite foods ever is homemade raw butter, whether it's for homemade cookies or it's just to put on some sourdough toast or just to cook eggs in the morning. It's just one of those so satisfying things to take from cream from the farm that we have here on the homestead and turn it into butter that's just here, and especially with the cost of groceries going up. So it's one of those things that it's very rewarding to take the time to learn to make this raw butter. It seems simple enough, but I've actually had some mistakes along the way trying to learn to make raw butter. I have read that the easiest way is to process it at around 62 degrees Fahrenheit. I have found that trying to process it in a Vitamix, which is a high-speed blender, although it can be faster, I have found that it heats up my butter, the cream, too much, too quickly, and I end up kind of getting whipped butter, which is delicious, but it's not quite what I'm looking for. The easiest way is just to use a KitchenAid stand mixer. It's just kind of one of those things that takes about 10 or 15 minutes, but it's so simple and you get complete separation of the raw butter from the buttermilk. So hang with me today. I'm going to show you how I do that. It's simple. It's kind of a no-fail way. The one thing you can't do is you can't step away and do something else. So typically I'm in the kitchen or I have a kid kind of watching what's going on, because as soon as that butter separates from the buttermilk, it's gonna splash everywhere, and no one wants that. We have enough mess to clean up. So raw butter is rich in all of our fat-soluble vitamins, so A, D, E, and K. These are the ones that most of us are deficient in, not everybody, but a lot of people, if you grew up on the standard American diet, you're more than likely not getting what you need. So here you're seeing me just skim the top of the cream. This is one of those, you just kind of take the time to slowly scoop that goodness off the top. It's pretty self-explanatory. When you look at raw milk, it hasn't been homogenized, and that means it's a process where they take all the fats and incorporate it into milk, which is what you get at the store. Most of it is homogenized. But in its raw form, you can see the separation from the heavy cream from the rest of the milk. So we are just going to skim the top just to get all of that goodness in there. And I find that I can only fill up my KitchenAid bowl about halfway. Much more than that, and you won't have room for the whipped cream stage. So this is me just showing you, I'm using my whisk attachment, and you're going to start on in between 4, 5, or 6 on the speed. Kind of keep an eye on it. You don't want it obviously splashing everywhere. I'm just going to speed this up. So the important thing to note is that it's going to go through a few different stages. The first stage, as you're seeing right now, it just basically doubled in size. So it is turning into delicious whipped cream. And you can stop right there, add some maple syrup, a few tablespoons, serve it on some Belgian waffles, and so good. But we are not making whipped cream today. We're making butter. So you're going to keep whipping that heavy cream for quite a while. It does seem like it takes quite a while. I feel like it takes an unusual amount of time, but this is the way that I have found it to be foolproof. Other times when I've used it, even in the food processor or a Vitamix, I'm not getting it to that state where it is like really solid. It's a little more still fluffy, if you will. So yeah, so you'll see here, it fluffed up real quick, making whipped cream. We're in that delicious whipped cream stage. And it just is going to keep whisking until it's going to slowly kind of deflate a little bit. And then you'll slowly start to see here, see it deflated right here. It will slowly start to look a little clumpy and a little not so cute. And it's important to kind of take a rubber spatula and just kind of scrape around, getting all of that goodness in there so it can all be incorporated, nothing going to waste here. So you can kind of see where it's separating. It's looking a little kind of icing-y in a way. And again, you're just going to keep at it. Typically, I'm in the kitchen doing other things while this is going on, And honestly, I usually put a towel on top. So as you're going through this process, you're going to be listening. There is going to be a very distinct sound. You're going to literally hear the breaking of the butter from the buttermilk. And I'll include what you're looking for. It's quite literally the sloshing around of the liquid. When you hear that, you're pretty much there. After that, it's just a matter of making sure you have clean hands. And what I find to be the easiest way, I don't know if your brain works this way, but for me, I don't want to have more dishes. So I basically use my hands to kind of go in, and you're just kind of squishing that butter together. This is something that the kids also love to do. So sometimes that will have helpers. Just got to make sure their hands are nice and clean. But you just go through and it just kind of stick it together, squeezing out that buttermilk. That's what's left at the end. Didn't know that before I had a dairy cow. I just thought buttermilk was just a random type of milk. Then we're going to bring it over to the sink, and you're going to use the coldest water your tap will have, and you're just going to rinse really well. The more you rinse that buttermilk out, the better it's going to keep. I actually have not had raw butter go bad. There are times that it will kind of taste or smell a little more cheesy, but it doesn't really necessarily go like rancid. And I believe it's because we're not pasteurizing this, so it still has all the digestive enzymes in it, which I find tends to agree with my family overall. Most of my kids don't handle pasteurized dairy as well as raw dairy. And that's it. This is just me pouring that leftover buttermilk. You can leave this out at room temperature and allow it to culture and thicken up, and it will be delicious in biscuits, pancakes, waffles. I typically put it in the fridge just to let it keep for a little bit longer, but raw milk doesn't go bad, it just goes different. So I hope you have enjoyed this quick tutorial of how to take raw cream and turn it into butter. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you subscribe and look forward to new videos every week. Have a wonderful day, friends.